Yeah.
Okay, got you, Kathy. And then I see Melanie is here. Melanie is on Facebook. Hello, 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 Melanie. Okay. So it's 4:05. We're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So great, guys. So happy that you all could join us today. And you have here the lovely Dr. Scheuer. Her sign name is Kim
Yep.
because she knows sign language also. And I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about herself first, but let's just a few housekeeping rules. Some of you are on Zoom, so if you don't mind, just keep the cameras off and then keep it muted. Okay, good. So, and you don't have to sign, Dr. Scheuer. You can go ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm like,
No,
this
it's
will
going to
be
be closed
interesting.
captioning. Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you became a doctor, and what is lifestyle medicine?
Okay. So my name is Dr. Kim Scheuer, and um, I became a doctor because I've always wanted to become a doctor. I actually went to RIT, NTID, and got a master's in deaf education first because I thought a good doctor is a good teacher, and it's gonna be hard for me not to sign.
Okay, do
And
whatever you want. If you go ahead, yes.
Tom is not the same, it's not so clear. Anyways, so I became a doctor after I played and did some other things first. So I was older when I became a doctor. And I became a family practitioner, family physician. So I did a little bit of everything, delivering babies, taking care of adults, everything. 80% of what I saw in my clinic was chronic disease, heart disease, diabetes, depression, obesity, depression, high blood pressure, cholesterol, all kinds of things, 80%. And 80% of that is lifestyle affected. Now, I didn't know anything about lifestyle medicine until I was 47 years old. When I was 47, I realized my mom had breast cancer at 48. And I wanted to see how I could prevent myself from having breast cancer. A little late, but and I'd struggled with weight all my life. I was obese, I was overweight, about 50 pounds more than I am now. And at the same time, I was trying to do some research about blood pressure. A friend of mine was going to nutrition school. I was a Milky Way vegetarian for most of my life. I was a junk food junkie, loved a cheeseaholic, didn't eat healthy as a vegetarian, a lot of junk food, a lot of processed food, a lot of cheeses and chocolate. And so a friend of mine was going to nutrition school. She asked me to do a 3-day thing. And I filled out the paperwork thinking I'm eat better than 90% of America. Came back and she said, you eat terribly, horribly. And she said, I'm going to make you a green drink right now, a smoothie. And I was like, ooh, I don't like anything green, no salad, no. Yeah, salad, garbage. And she made me a green drink. She forced me to try it. It was actually okay. And so she cooked for me for a month. I ate plant-based completely for a month, lost a ton of weight. My cholesterol plummeted, felt great. My energy went up. I wasn't struggling. In fact, I eventually found that I was losing too much weight and I had to eat more, which was just crazy in my life because, I'd grown up obese. When I was 13, I stopped growing up and started growing out. And so I discovered this, started doing the research, could not believe all the stuff I wasn't taught in medical school, ended up starting to study it much more, became board certified in lifestyle medicine and started using with my patients. And so lifestyle medicine is using evidence-based medicine, lifestyle changes, eating healthy, nutrition, moving more naturally and moving your body, stressing less, getting rid of toxins, sleeping better, getting community, all of those things. There's 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine that have been proven to prevent, reverse, and treat and reverse diseases. So those 80% of the things that I saw in my practice, I could actually treat, not just give a bandage for. Like, people would come in saying, they're hitting their hand with a hammer. And before, I would give them some Tylenol, which would help the pain, but it didn't stop the problem. So your body didn't heal. With lifestyle medicine, you get rid of that hammer, you let your body heal, and you don't need medicines. And so now I practice lifestyle medicine with Love Life Telehealth. So it's telehealth. I have licenses in 25 states.
Wow.
And I reverse disease. I get people off of medicines, or I prevent people from getting on medicines. And it's phenomenal. Changed my life, changed my patients' lives. Oh, I love it.
I do too. I do too, because I've been drastically able to reduce my medication and lose the weight. It's been hard. It hasn't always been linear, but it has happened. So now that was one of the questions that I got kind of late. So actually, with a lifestyle medicine, you are able to get off medication. Now, I know that may not be the case for everyone, but you are able to stop.
I have been, absolutely, for most people. Now, it depends on what kind of medicine and where you are in your journey. But like, I had a patient of mine who's in his 60s, and I started seeing him. Do you want me to sign? Or no?
You can if you want. I just noticed that a deaf person popped up.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I can sign for you.
Okay. So he's in his 60s, has been diabetic since age 11. I got him off of 15. Well, he was on 15 medicines when he started seeing me. He's now on just his insulin, but he's on half the insulin. And so, yes, you can get off of a lot of medicines, and it just depends on why you take the medicine. And, you know, your family history, a whole bunch of things. But I certainly have been able to get people off or decrease. Even my partner, he was on 6 medications when we started dating. He lost over 60 pounds and is now only on 1 or 2, you know, so he's off of many of his meds.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. That's so true. And I know you can do that, but I want people to hear from a doctor's perspective to let them know. So it's just not Charlotte, but it can really happen. Okay, so the next question that I have, a lot of people, when they think about losing weight, they think they need to reduce their carbs or eliminate carbs. So what do you say about that?
So it depends on what you're talking about carbs. So sorry. So there are junk carbs like Milky Way bars and processed carb cookies and cakes and things like that. Yes, you want to eliminate that. But whole carbs are actually really good for you. So like fruit, a carb in the fruit is 4 calories per gram of carbs, right? Fat has 9 calories per gram. So you want to get rid of processed carbs, but eating whole grains, whole fruits, whole vegetables, whole legumes, so beans, lentils, peas, they're all very healthy, and you actually eat more and you lose weight. So during my weight struggles, I've tried starvation, I've tried Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Diet Center. I tried to be bulimic, but I couldn't do it, which was good. So I am great at binging, but I couldn't purge. So I used to be huge. And I eat way more now than I used to, because with a carb, first of all, fruits and vegetables and whole grains, they have a lot of water, they have a lot of fiber, and they have a lot of bulk. So you cannot eat enough to get fat on low calorie, high nutrient density foods. So that's the difference between an apple, applesauce, and apple juice. Take apple juice, it has no fiber in it. And with no fiber, you can get a lot of calories and they get absorbed very quickly. with an apple, you have fiber, water, bulk, and it gets absorbed, the sugar in there, the carbs get absorbed slowly, or they get pooped out. So carbs are not the problem, actually. And people think we were on low-fat diets before. We weren't. You know, an Oreo is not low-fat, even though it says it. And so what you need is whole foods. Do not be afraid of it. I eat so much more than I used to. I should have pictures. I meant to get that for you. And I lose weight. You know, I had to, when I ate whole food plant-based, I actually had to eat more so I wouldn't lose too much weight, which was the bizarrest thing for me. So carbs are really good for you. You can also look at the longest living people in the world and the thinnest people in the world. Like if you look at traditional Japanese, they eat sweet potatoes and rice and a whole bunch of things, and they lose weight. If you look at the blue zones, the area around the world where people live the longest and the healthiest, and there's 5 different places from Costa Rica, Japan, there's Okinawa, Japan, a place in Greece, a place in Italy, and then Loma Linda, California. They're the thinnest, healthiest people. And that's because they eat high carb lentils and beans and rices and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to ask some of my nice little sign language friend. Does anyone want to help me interpret?
I mean, I can.
No, you can. That's fine. No, Anybody want to help me out? Brenda, Barbara?
I mean,
If they don't, that's fine.
the person knows okay with SimCom, I can do that if you want.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to do that? Okay.
I
Okay.
can if you want to. That's fine. I'm up for interpreting if you want me to.
Well,
Okay.
I want you to
But you
listen.
can. Oh, you want to listen? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
here.
Okay,
Maybe.
that's fine.
If the deaf person watching is okay, I can sign and talk at the same time. Is that okay?
I think Betty will be okay. Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, this is my next question. Okay, people ask me all the time, what is wrong with meat? What is wrong with dairy? What is wrong with fish and eggs?
Okay, let's start with dairy. We are the only people or animal that drinks milk after we wean, after we're off the breast, right? And then we drink the milk of another species. Why? Of another animal. So all of those, meat, dairy, whatever else, chicken, fish, things like that, they are packaged, they come with bad things. Okay, so they come with the proteins, everything in them come with bad things. So TMAO, which causes heart disease, IGF-1, which causes cancer, they're packaged, they're associated with that. Heme iron. So heme iron is really bad for us and it causes cancer. Whereas the proteins from plants are packaged with really good nutrients, like phytochemicals, things like that, that are really health promoting. So for our bodies, ourselves, it's bad. For the animals, it's bad. For the planet, it's bad. It's bad for so many reasons, but it's really the proteins in the meat, the dairy, the fish, the milk. It's high calorie, low nutrients, and you want high nutrient, low calorie. So if you think about your stomach, it's like your stomach is a certain size. And if you eat oil, which is a lot of fat, nothing else, no more, it's 1 tablespoon is, 120 calories. So it doesn't fill you up, right? If you eat meat or cheese, it's a little bit is a lot of calories. For weight, that's a problem. If you eat the same amount, like 500 calories of fruit and vegetables, you'll fill up. You'll be completely full. And so you won't be hungry. You'll get all the nutrients you need and none of the bad stuff that's associated with meat and dairy and things like that, that cause inflammation, that cause cancer, that cause heart disease, like saturated fats are bad for us. They cause things that increase our blood pressure, increase our heart disease, increase our illness. And those are associated with meat, dairy, fish, chicken, things like that. And they grow chicken in America to be fat. The chicken themselves are fat, right? You got a lot of antibiotics, you have a lot of pollutants, you have a lot of just things that we give them so they can survive that get into our body and cause problems. And fish, the poisons in the ocean, like DDT and mercury and things like that. Mercury, sorry, I don't sign really well now. Used to, not now. But anyways, so you don't have those bad things associated with plants versus the animals. I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. So then let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Can I just eat those things like the meat and the dairy and the fish, and then I just can take some vitamins?
No, because vitamins are to support you a little bit, what's missing. And really, it doesn't counteract the bad stuff you're eating with it. So the heme iron, you absorb so much of that and it causes, heart disease and cancer. And so the vitamins don't make up, they're to support, not to eliminate the other stuff, the bad stuff.
Okay, very good there. So now a lot of people that are struggling with weight, a lot of people feel that the problem is I have the fat gene.
Oh, yeah.
My family was fat. They had problems with the weight, and that's what happened to me.
Nope.
Not genetic.
Because if you think about it, you inherit genes, yes, but that's only 10% of what's the problem. Okay. So my gene in my finger here is the same gene that's in my eye. All right. It's just what's turned on and what's turned off. And so eating unhealthy, that's what changes the finger gene to a finger and then the eye to make an eye. And so you inherit the genes, but you also inherit the food, the lifestyle. So you're eating the same as your parents and grandparents, but and genetics don't change that quickly. If you look at like Hawaii, I don't know how to sign that.
I think it's this one. It used to be Hawaii.
So Hawaii, the first generation people who moved to Hawaii from like Japan, places like that, they were thin. The next generation that's eating an unhealthy diet got heavier. The next generation got heavier. Genes don't change that fast. And so it's not your genes. And like for me, my genes are the same as when I was born, right? They're the same as when I was born. And I was fat from age 13 to 47. I changed my diet. I changed how fat I was. And so it's what you eat. It's the food, because all of our food now is made to be ultra processed, We're eating way more animal, sorry, than we should. And it just makes us fat. So we are not milk. Milk is meant for a baby cow to become an adult cow from 30 pounds to 300 pounds. It's got a lot of hormones in it, a lot of fat in it that's meant to make that baby cow, baby cow fat. So you're drinking something that's supposed to make you fat. So the fat gene is very rare. It's more the fat social circumstances, what you're exposed to, how you're exposed. And yes, there are things like epigenetics and how the environment affects your genes, but you can change that. You can change that. Dr. Dean Ornish, he did a study about prostate cancer in men. And in 1 month of lifestyle changes, they changed 40 genes that either turn off or turn on prostate cancer only by what they eat and lifestyle. So stress, sleep, meditation, movement, things like that in a month.
Wow.
So it's not what you inherit, it's what's turned on and off. And now they're finding out with studies that your stomach, your gut microbiome, which is all the bacteria, the viruses that live inside you, 3 trillion. We are just the carriers of another 3 trillion species. And what you feed that affects your weight and affects your mental health and it affects your physical health. So we want to feed it fiber. In America, we are fiber deficient. And, we don't have enough fiber. And the only place to get fiber is plants. Animals have none.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that too, that 90%, 97% of the Americans are not getting enough fiber. And then we need at least 30 grams of fiber per day. A lot of times, I forgot, I'm just talking. A lot of times people will focus on protein. Do I have enough protein? But they forget about the fiber.
Right.
That's what we really need is the fiber. We need at least 30 grams every day.
And I get that for breakfast.
That's good. What about the keto diet?
Okay. So keto is not healthy. Yes, you can lose weight with keto, short time, but you will increase your risk of all-cause mortality with that 30%. So I can give you cocaine. I can give you cigarettes. You will lose weight, but it's not healthy. It's not sustainable. It's not good. So keto has a lot of the things they're finding out more and more that short time, maybe you lose a little weight, but you can't sustain it and it increases your risk of death. So why do that? Why not eat something that you'll lose weight, you'll help the planet, you'll help yourself, you'll help the animals, and you'll live longer and happier. Because when you change your diet, you change your taste buds too, and you feel so much better, and the food tastes good. So, yeah.
And I told my family that all the time, my truly my sisters, that when you change to a plant-based diet, you have to give it time for your taste to change. I see a lot of people are trying to make cauliflower, C-A-U-L, flour, taste the same as chicken. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It tastes better if you use the right spices.
So what you have to do is that eat the food and give your body and your taste time to change, because you crave what you eat. So the
Yep.
more that you're eating your vegetables and your plants, the more that you will crave those things and not crave the meat and the other things like that.
Remember I told you before I didn't eat anything green, no
Yeah.
salad, nothing. And now after 1 month of just, you know, the smoothies and eating healthy, I was craving, you know, salad. And I love it for dinner now. And I love the taste of the food I eat. So many people think, oh, I'm so sorry for you. You have a limited diet. I'm like, no, look, mine's full of colors. It's full of love and life and not torturing of other animals and things like that. And I didn't go into it for that reason. I went into this for my own health. But you learn so much and you feel so much better. And I feel better making the world a better place too. But the reason I continue this is because I feel younger than I felt when I was in my 20s.
Wow.
And I can hike up a mountain and just beat my brothers who are younger than me up a mountain because they didn't change their health, their food, and I did. And it's just so awesome. And before I was the fat one in the family, now I'm the thin one, and everyone else is not doing so well as they become older.
Okay. So one of the final question that I had over there, can you get enough protein?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So protein, as you said before, we're like worried about protein and not fiber. Wrong. That's a marketing thing. And so every plant has protein, and every plant has a variety of different amino acids. And if you think about it, protein is like a sentence. And then, you know, you have words that are amino acids. So the amino acids are the part of, you know, just the breakdown of the protein. And every plant, if I eat like kale or spinach, then, or broccoli has more protein per calorie than beef. And so if you eat the broccoli, it breaks it down, the proteins in it, it breaks it down to amino acids, and then you make some more. Your body makes your own protein, and you get plenty. And so I figured it out one time. I went on Chronometer. It's an app online that's free. It can be free, and I use a free one because I'm cheap. But it's called CRONE, Chronometer, and I put down all my food, and I get so much protein. And in America, we get way too much protein, and protein makes things grow, right? So it makes your body and things in your body grow like cancer. So you don't want too much. And it's really interesting because babies who need to grow a lot have a lot less protein than most people, the adults in this America drink or eat and drink. And so we get way too much protein, and that makes us sick. And so, but and it's different. Plant protein is processed differently in your body and is safer than the animal protein because of what it's connected with. A great movie called The Game Changers talks about it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. And so I calculated mine. You should be getting 0.8 milligrams per kilogram up to, it depends on how athletic you are. But if, you know, like weightlifters get around 1.6 milligrams per kilogram. And I calculated mine, and without the protein powders and all this crap we're told we need, I get 1.7 because I eat a lot. So if you eat enough calories, you will get enough protein. I mean, if you only eat Milky Way bars, which before I could have done that candy, the Milky Way bars, you're not going to get enough because you're not eating enough variety. But if you get variety, and I like to say 30 different kinds of plants every week, I do it every day because overachiever. But if you're getting a variety, you're getting enough protein in anything you eat. The only change is if you're very old, and then it's up a tiny bit, but if you're eating enough, you're going to be fine. If you have a medical problem where you don't absorb, but then you talk with the doctor and we can talk about that if that's really your problem. But I have never in my life in America as a doctor for way over 20 years seen protein deficiency. Never, except for when I was in, a really poor place in the world where they have, the babies that have the big stomachs, the or so those kids that are not getting enough calories, or end stage cancer where you're not eating enough and getting enough calories. So don't worry about it. You're going to be fine if you eat healthy.
Okay. Now I see Renee is off. Renee, did you have a question? Or she just off mute? Renee?
I just was off mute by mistake. I did not
Okay.
have a question.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, listen, guys, this is all. I put what do you call the thing? A link
Link?
a link to Dr. Scheuer in there. She is my doctor. I see her on Zoom, so it's a virtual visit. Yeah, she's going to help me sign because I need some help here. So, and she is accepting new patients. So I have the link there. If you don't see it, just let me know. But if there's now, I'm hoping that I answered all the questions. Are there any more? Is there something that I missed?
Where is she located, Charlotte? I know
I'm
you say
in
your doctor.
Colorado, but I have 25 different licenses around the country, so I can see people in many, many states. And you can look at love.life or Love Life Telehealth. And if you see that I'm not in your state, they have a lot of partners and they're great. We all live the same lifestyle. We prescribe for our patients, and we've all benefited, and we're all boarded in that. So you can check us, any of the group of people. They're great. Love them all.
Yeah, I'm trying to let me get the link real quick,
Sure.
and then I'll put it in chat so that everybody can see it. I put it on Facebook. You all know I'm not good with technology. I put it on Facebook somewhere, but yeah.
I think it's love.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, there it is. That's not the right one. That's mine.
This will be, I think you can just Google that or me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, then, good people. I'm gonna try one more time because I'm determined. There it is. It's in the chat. So you can click on it, and then that way it'll come up in your browser. Okay, guys, listen. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for joining. I really enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can hit up Dr. Scheuer. Then, suppose you have
Yep.
any questions, then you can contact Dr. Scheuer, or you can contact me, and I can help you to contact her.